Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you 5 tips for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get into them, quickly just want to go through a couple of things with you guys. Now first of all, there won't be a video tomorrow night for Sunday's racing. Unfortunately, I just don't have time to record one tomorrow evening, so apologies for that in advance. Also as well, if you haven't done so already, make sure you check out the latest In the Saddle podcast, where I was joined by usual suspects Mark Horowski and making his debut this week, Steve Shanks. You might have seen Steve on Shreen Woo's YouTube channel. If you want to check out our thoughts and feelings on the weekend and check out the latest podcast, I'll leave a link for you in the description box below, where we've got all the major podcast platforms covered, including the likes of Spotify, Apple, Soundcloud, whichever one takes your fancy. Just hit one of those links in the description box below. Also as well, we'll just quickly do the recap of how today's selection performed. Just put up the one tip in the end, which ran at Ascot. That was Big Nasty, recommended at 16 to 1 each way, even though there are only 2 places on offer, and we were rewarded there with an each way profit, as he was able to finish in second place in the end. I did say before the race that the Wiliam Haggis horse would probably be the main danger, and rightly so. He looked a class above, but I still thought it was a really good effort by Big Nasty, and I think he'll have a handicap in him down the line, and he's definitely a horse to keep on side with on his next few starts. I think, like I said, there could be a race to be won with him, and he's not badly handicapped. And in fact, actually, if you backed my horse each way with a quarter of the odds, you would have actually made more money than taking the final SP on the Wiliam Haggis horse. So yeah, it's a funny game sometimes, but yeah, good result for us today, and hopefully we can continue that into tomorrow's racing. So we're going to be getting straight into it then in the 2:30 at Ascot for the listed Buckhound Stakes, and this is where my nap's going to be here, and it's a bit of a big price, I thought, and that's a horse called Tyson Fury for Kieran Schumacher and Richard Spencer, going obviously for a Richard Spencer horse again. At the time of recording, this horse was available at 12 to 1 with bookmakers, and I'm going to recommend a 1 point each way selection here, and that price was available with William Hill, who are offering 4 places on the race. Now this horse, I think Tyson Fury, he's definitely one to keep on side this year. He's a horse I actually backed on debut. I just had a fun bet on him. I think he was only like 28 to 1 on the day. It was a big price, I should say, at 28 to 1 on the day, and he actually travelled like a dream, and in the end was a very good winner. They kept him away from other races to eventually target on the St. Leger with him, and I thought he actually ran a really good race despite being really inexperienced. He then stepped forward for that run in the St. Leger, and then he came to Ascot last year over this course and distance in when it was soft ground, and really dug deep, and he lived up to his name, a tough opponent, and he was really gritty that day. And I think with the rain that's coming in, obviously it's going to be pretty testing conditions, you would imagine. Tomorrow got lots of rain tonight. It is going to clear, I think, throughout the day, especially here in the south, but yeah, it's going to leave its mark anyway, and you're going to be wanting to back horses that have got soft ground form. But I think Tyson Fury, he's only had a few starts, and I think maybe the easier ground will help him. Also as well, he ran okay, I thought, at Newbury when he was quite keen and fresh that day. I think he'll come on for that run. He finished in 4th place, where he was beaten by Without a Fight and Outbox. They had more of a fitness edge on him, but I think he can reverse that form tomorrow, and I think he'll strip fitter, and the ground will come in his favour as well. And I think at 12 to 1, that's a big price about him, and he's only had 4 life starts, and you could think that there could be more to come. He's a big monster of a horse, and I think he could go on to bigger and better things as a 4-year-old. So he's going to be my nap of the day tomorrow. We then go to Lingfield for an extra tip, which runs in the Derby Trial, the 250. Now I thought Carlisle Bay was a bit of a big price here, available at 15 to 2 with bookmakers for Frankie Dettori and Aidan O'Brien. Now on paper it looks like Frankie's on the 2nd string, but I'm not so sure. Kyprios was a good winner last time at Cork and has a lovely pedigree, an unusual pedigree to be with Aidan O'Brien. You normally see these colours with Dermot Weld. It's actually a sibling to Falconate, who won the Chester Cup today, and also as well Group 1 winner Search for a Song. So yeah, a lot of good relations in the pedigree. But if you actually look at the pedigree of Kyprios, he shouldn't like soft ground at all, and he was really disappointing when he ran on it at Newmarket last year. Whereas this fella, Carlisle Bay, has actually proven already that he can handle cutting the ground. He won on a testing surface at Tipperary, and then he finished 3rd in a Group 3 on his only other start at Leopardstown when he was favourite that day. So they obviously expected a lot of him. Obviously, he comes in fresh tomorrow, and he will be wearing first-time cheek pieces, and he was upset in the stalls last time at Leopardstown, but I think he'll develop better with age, and this could be the time to catch him tomorrow. And if you look at his pedigree, he's got a lovely pedigree by Galileo. Is actually a full sister, I believe, to Alluringly, who was a good filly for Aino O'Brien, and she didn't mind a bit of cut in the ground as well. So a lot of things pointing to this horse to run a big race tomorrow, and I thought was slightly overpriced. I wasn't keen at all on the Godolphin favourite, and I think Carlisle Bay might come for a bit of support tomorrow, and I wouldn't be at all surprised actually if he maybe went off 4-1, that kind of price. I could see him being supported tomorrow, so he's going to be an extra tip there. We then head back to Ascot for my Longshot, which runs in the Victoria Cup. Always have to have a go in these big handicaps, and I thought Ropey Guest here was an interesting each way selection. Going to be my Longshot of the day, available at 22-1 with SkyBet, who are offering 7 places on the race for Tom Queally and George Margson. Now this horse has got a bit of a reputation for not winning very often, but to be fair to him, he has been running in very hot company. He's actually performed some of his best career efforts here at Ascot. He finished 4th at Royal Ascot last year in the Jersey Stakes, and also as well, I think he was like 250-1 or something like that when he ran an eye-catching race in the Coventry when he was a 2-year-old. So he's always ran in these pattern company races and is quite unexposed in handicaps. Now he got his deserved win at Chelmsford last year, but I think off a mark of 98 in this company over this trip as well. I know he did run in a handicap at Ascot last year when he disappointed, but that was over a mile. I think he's more of a 7 furlong kind of horse. Obviously he will need to be ready to get the job done tomorrow, because it is going to be his first run of the season, but he ran okay fresh last year, and I think at 22-1 he might have a couple of pounds to play with his handicap mark from some of his earlier form. So yeah, not a bad draw as well to work with tomorrow. He's drawn high. He's drawn in stool 23, so that's a good sign. I like horses that are normally drawn towards the stand side in these big handicaps. Don't know why it is, but that's always something I play with. I think you're more favoured to be towards the stand side anyway, but that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, lots of things in his favour tomorrow, and Ropey Guest I thought had a really good chance of making the frame at a big price. We then go my next best, which runs in the 3:45 at Haydock. Now this race could potentially cut up, and there could be some room fours. I could see it coming, but I thought Raeeq here for Dane O'Neill and Brian Meehan in the colours of Shadwell Racing could take all the beating in this race. Now, a lot of this horse's best form is on soft ground, and notably his best effort last year when he absolutely bolted up at Ascot and really testing ground. He then was favourite for the Balmoral handicap, but ran okay to finish in 5th place that day. He's had a reappearance run where he ran okay at Newbury, but the ground might have been just a little bit quick for him, and I think he'll strip fitter for the run as well. If you actually look at his profile, he's always done better on his second start. Brian Meehan's team are in pretty decent form as well. They're operating at 29% strike rate, so a lot of things are pointing to a big run from Raeeq tomorrow. He's 9-4 with bookmakers at the moment. I think that's fair value. I'm going to recommend a 1-point win bet with him, and also as well his main market rival, who's got the same official rating of 107 current option, has to give him £5, so that's another tick in the box. I just think that it all points to him tomorrow, and I think come post time he could be a really short price, but if you can still get the 9-4 at the current time recording, I think that's a fair bet there. We then end with another extra tip in the 4:15 at Ascot. Go back there to the Royal Track with a horse called Nuits St George's for Ross O'Ryan and David Manoussier, available at 12-1 at the time recording, and 4 places is currently available with SkyBet and Wiliam Hill. I'm going to recommend a 0.5 each way selection here. Now this horse, I think he can go quite well fresh. He won on his seasonal appearance last year at Sandown on his first start of the season, but I think there could still be a bit more to come from him this season. He's off a mark of 88. He finished 3rd in the November handicap at a really big price where he ran a stormer that day, but I think his best trip is round about the 1.5 miles. And also as well, what's notable tomorrow is that he should be able to handle conditions. He's won on soft in the past before, so I think there's a lot of point into a big run for this horse tomorrow at a double figure price. David Manoussier's team are in good form as well, so a lot of ticks in the boxes for Nuits St George tomorrow. He's drawn in still 2, so he'll hopefully want to be handy. He has got a bit of a prominent run style. He doesn't have to make the running, but he likes to be handy. So if Rosser can get him into a good position from the get-go, he hopefully will be ideally placed to get the job done. So yeah, a few big prices tomorrow, but I fancy them to run well, and hopefully we can have a good day. So they're the 5 tips for tomorrow's racing. If you're still enjoying these videos, remember to hit the thumbs up button, subscribe here to my YouTube channel at LuckyLoaders15, leave your comments in the comments box below on what you're going to be backing. If you want to follow me on social media, you can do on Twitter, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, my website address is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.